going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Rise Above, how you will transform your life using just the things that God gave you and learning how to be resourceful with whatever you have in your life right now. And more importantly, what not to have in your life. The truth is, with transformation, it really isn't about investing into these $10,000 master classes that tell you how to transform and this and that. I'm sure there's value in all of that. And this is not me to knock all of the big gurus that really have made some amazing transformation in people's lives. Sorry, you got people that... Yeah, sorry about that, everybody. People don't have any common sense these days when it comes to driving. So in this episode, I'm going to kind of go over the things that I did that completely transformed me, my life, my family's life, our situation. And I know it'll do the same for you. A lot of it, truthfully, is about either replacing the things you're already doing or completely eliminating the things that you most likely are engaging in on a day-to-day basis. Because again, for a long time, I was with the many, and now I'm with the few. And that's not for me to boast myself. That's just me trying to put in perspective what I want for anybody that watches this live and watches this channel. If you go to any of my videos live or any of the shorts, you're gonna see that everything I do is for you. I have luckily managed myself out of my own hell, and now I've made it my mission to help as many. I've been blessed enough in the last 4 years that I've been able to help at least 3 people, truthfully, 4, transform the way they think, the way they move, how they look. And none of it was done on the basis of money, because these were all people that I worked with, that I had just met, that were interested to see why it was that I don't drink, why it was that I go to the gym in the morning, how it is that I go to the gym in the morning, because we work in construction. And truthfully, a lot of it was just because there were things that I don't do that allow me to do the things that I want to. The first one, I don't really want to categorize it, sorry. Let me try to kind of just go in order here. Who I was before, I was a severe alcoholic. I was at times very depressed. I really had zero drive to do anything outside of just doing the bare minimum when it came to going to a job that I hated, having just enough to pay the rent, pay the bills, and making sure I had enough to feed my family, and unfortunately make sure I had enough to be able to go out and get a bottle, get beer, whatever it was I needed. Again, that's not me anymore. That was actually this month. It's gonna be 4 years since I transformed my life, changed everything, and since then I've become, I would say, obsessed with learning not so much how I did it, but how I can make it easier for other people to do it themselves. Because I don't want anybody to have to go through the pain that I went through in order to get there. Hello, 52115. Thank you for your greetings. My transformation came out of pain, came out of despair, and unfortunately the reality is that's going to be the case for most people. But I don't think it has to be. I think you have to find a reason strong enough to change, but hopefully you're not at that point where it's literally a do or die, as it was for me. Because I was killing myself with alcohol. I was losing my family. Everything, my whole life was a shit show, if I'm being honest. what helped me was, before making my change, I had spent a few years already learning about personal development, learning about addiction. And that brings me to my first change, that if you're not already doing this, I highly recommend, I don't even recommend, this is a must, I'm sorry. If you're spending your free time watching Netflix, watching the news, scrolling, and scrolling is a new addiction. I've listened to enough psychologists and dopamine experts to tell you that cigarettes, alcohol, a lot of things that used to be at the top of the list when it came to addiction, that's no longer the case. Scrolling is the new addiction when it comes to what the majority of people are trapped in and can't get out of. What I can tell you is, the internet does not have to be something that derails you, that holds you down. You can use anything that's bad in your life and turn it around and use it for good. There's if you never heard of polarity, what it means is that nothing is one-sided. There's no one-sided coin. There's no one side to anything. There's always two sides to everything. Meaning, where there's good, there's bad. What goes up, where there's up, there's down. It's all about how your perspective and what you choose to do and how to feel and how to look at things. So if you're constantly, again, either just scrolling or binge watching or the old school addictions of drinking. Let's see who we got here. Sick. Oh God, Lisa, sorry about that. It seems that you've fallen into the trap of 6-7. And again, this is what I was talking about when I started this live, which is, you can either be with the many and see how that works out, or you can carve your own path. I have 2 little daughters. Not only do they not know not to participate in this 6-7 crap that's going on with the kids, but more importantly, as I made it clear to my daughters, because she'll ask me, she's 8, and she says, why do kids say 6-7? And I told her, well, because everyone's saying it. And most people just want to be like everybody else. And I think that's a very sad thing, because everybody is a unique and gifted and special individuals. Unfortunately, we live in a world, in a society that wants to keep us stuck and make us think that we're supposed to live down here, when the truth is, what we were put on this earth for, most people can't even fathom how much potential they have inside of them, but they're trapped. So, and I'm sorry, I kind of sidetracked here, but the first thing, and one of the major things that I started a long time ago, even before my transformation, that I continued and I do to this day, is I listen to podcasts that help me understand mindset transformation, that help me understand nutrition, that help me understand finances, because we're all energy. At the end of the day, we're just energy, vibrations, living in a meat suit, walking around. And what kind of energy we have, we have a field of energy. That's why when they go in and do these tests, and they put the sensors on the outside, well, how the heck are they doing it on the outside? Well, because there's vibrational energies that come out of us that they're actually able to read. So energy is not just woo sort of stuff. It's a very, very proven thing that we are all just vibrational energies walking around, and it's up to you if you're going to choose to keep yourself in a constant state of negative energy, to which you're just going to attract more and more negativity into your life. You're going to attract negative people. You're going to attract negative situations. You're going to attract negative into your finances, because money is just energy in paper and digital form. Money is based off what value you're bringing to the world. So if you're making a small amount of energy, or you're a small amount of money, I'm sorry, or you can't seem to figure out how it is that you can't hold on to the money you have, you don't know where it's going, there's not enough money at the end of the month, it's because you're operating at a negative vibrational energy, and so your money just disappears. People that are high functioning, that operate with a high sense of energy, they're very aware of where their money is going. Does this mean not spending money? No. This means knowing where to spend your money. And I don't want to go too off beat here of what this episode is about. But you guys need to understand that transformation involves learning your mind, learning your body, learning your health, and learning about your finances. Because I don't give a shit what they say on TV, or what people say about rich people and this or that. All that shit is just to keep you distracted from doing what you're supposed to. Let's see, 6 a day, I agree, said hi, said crap, not funny. Yeah, let's ignore the 6-7 if it comes up on here. I'm driving, so I can't really figure out how to ignore this stuff, but that's the more we give it. Here's a good example. The more attention we give it, the more energy we're giving it. If we ignore it, it goes away. So again, one small change you must make this year, if you haven't already, that in 1 year from now will have you be a completely different person. Stop watching the news. Well, if I don't watch the news, then how do I know what's going on? Well, the news is just telling you what they want to tell you. Understand that most of the old school news, I believe it's referred to as legacy media, and I don't care what side you're on. I don't care, Republican, Democrat, blue, red, none of that shit matters. You guys have to understand, the people that own the news companies, the real people that own it, that own the commercials that are put on, they control everything. They control what they want you to see and think and hear. So number one, cut the news out. I'm telling you, as somebody who, if I wasn't watching sports before, I was watching the news all the time. I remember in 2020, I was still living in Los Angeles, and I couldn't stop watching when the BLM riots were going on. I was literally glued to the TV. I had the remote in one hand, and I had a bottle in the other. I mean, this is how bad things were, and that was at the beginning of my decline. That wasn't at my bottom. Binge watching shows on Netflix, binge watching movies. Hey, you know what? If you seriously think that you've given it your all that day, if you know you're putting your effort into positive things that are going to help you, and you just need a little hint of distraction, hey, go for it. If you know you can watch 30 minutes of something and be able to turn it off, hey, mazel tov, do it. But the truth is, and most people aren't even aware how addicted they are, that they can't not watch Netflix shows. They can't not watch whole seasons of things within 2-3 weeks, and then they wonder why their bank account looks the way they do. They wonder why their body looks the way they do. They wonder why their partners look at them the way they do. So cut out watching news, cut out binge watching shows, but most importantly, because this is the majority of people, cut out doom scrolling. If you don't know what doom scrolling is, it's just watching TikTok, YouTube Shorts, whatever it is. Again, there's value in this. You're on YouTube right now, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you, oh, the internet is bad for you. You need to understand how to make everything that the internet is here. It's not going anywhere. So you'd be silly to say, well, I'm just gonna somehow avoid being on the internet altogether. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm telling you, there's good and bad things. You can watch an hour of content related to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, or you can watch an hour of people getting their head blown off, or even worse, pornography. So that's what I'm referring to when I say choose what you're watching wisely and make sure it's something that's going to feed your mind and feed your energy and make you more valuable by the time you're done watching whatever it is you're watching or listening to, as opposed to having something that's going to keep you stuck or even worse, bring you even lower. Something else I did that has totally transformed my life in that same field, which is I signed up for Audible Amazon books around the same time, about 4 years ago, and I have the basic package, which is $15 a month. Anybody that says $15 a month is full of shit, especially if you're spending your money on drinking, on going out, whatever it is. You can dish out $15 a month, and you can look for the most transformational books that have ever been known to man. And I'm gonna give you a couple. I'm gonna recommend a couple books, a couple authors, and a couple of podcasts in a second. But I just want to kind of explain this to you guys. If you're in a job where you literally have the ability to have that, where they'll allow you, where you'll be able to sneak in an earpod, a headphone, without you getting in trouble or getting fired, hey man, don't let that opportunity go to waste. You're literally getting paid to become a better person. I don't care if they're paying you $7, $15, $30 an hour. If you're at a job that you absolutely hate, that you have no intention on moving up, then don't waste that opportunity. Because I've been in both. I've been at jobs where it was just impossible to be able to listen to anything, and I've been at jobs where I had nothing but time, and I was out on my own, and I was able to truthfully transform my life by listening to all the mentors and I hate saying the word guru because it sounds bad, but that's just the word. Teachers, we'll call them teachers, that I give God all the credit. These guys, well, I thank God for everything, and I thank God He put them in my life. Let's put it that way. I unfortunately had an absent father, which was a large part of my self-destruction. I felt I was a good worker, I was a great friend, I was a good dad in the beginning, and then as soon as I got hit in the mouth with a financial setback, I imploded. I fell apart like a deck of cards. And then I started looking and finding excuses and saying, well, it was because my dad never talked to me, and now I'm a shell of a man. I'm empty. I don't matter. But the truth was, God put a hole in my heart that I was able to fill with books, with podcasts, with mentors, that to this day I'm grateful that I had the childhood this 5 years ago. But I say this now without an ounce of doubt in my heart, in my mind. I love my dad because I'm here because of him. And the fact that I was blessed with this big hole in my heart, that I was able to fill it with people like Tony Robbins, like Ed Milet, like Jim Rohn, like Eric Thomas. I mean, thousands and thousands of hours that I've listened to these guys. And that's what I want for you. Everybody I've mentioned, they have books, they have podcasts. You don't have to get the $15 monthly Audible. Podcasts are free. If you have a smartphone, which you obviously do, you're here watching this, you can start listening to podcasts. If you have an hour commute, if you have a 15-minute commute from working home, I was door dashing for a good while there. Same thing. I completely stopped listening to music. I completely cut out watching sports. I completely cut out alcohol. And I devoted my life to serving God. And I feel that this is my purpose now, which is to continue to educate the many that are looking for that help, that are looking for that change, and not just give you encouragement, but give you real tools of how to make that happen. Because the truth is, I'm nowhere near a great speaker as a lot of these guys are, but I can at least point you in their directions and give you whatever help I can give you on my own journey. Because all these guys I'm talking to you, they came from pain. And that's what helped me out, was listening to other people that were way worse off than I was, and that are now at a place that before I couldn't even imagine being, but I'm on my way. And I want that for all of you. I mean that with all sincerity. There is not one person in this world that should be suffering. Sorry, there's something on the road. So, if you're finding yourself that you're constantly just sitting, am I Mexican? I am of Mexican descent. I'm American. I'm Latino. Whatever you want. Truthfully, I'm a son of God. I don't really label myself. I'm answering to Michael Thornton. My family originated from Mexico. I was actually born in Mexico, and then I came to California when I was 5 months old. I always said 1 year old, but I recently found out I was actually 5 months old. I'm an American citizen. I've been an American citizen for most of my life, and I love this country. I don't watch the news. I see what's going on. I have to, because I have YouTube. I have a YouTube channel, so when I go on YouTube, I see what's going on. I'm not completely unaware of everything that's happening. But this is why I'm telling you guys, you can't watch the news. You watch the news, you're gonna watch things that are gonna have you hating this country, have you hating yourself, have you hating the ethnicity you come from. There's nothing wrong with someone who takes pride in whatever their culture is, but it's also about understanding that everybody has the same right to having that sense of pride in their culture. And it's when we're able to all have it together that this world is a beautiful place. And it's also about being careful about that word pride, because pride is actually something that's from the devil. So maybe I should find a different word for that. Proud. I'll say proud. Proud and pride are two completely different things. I'm proud of what my family, what my mom had to struggle to get me here. The struggle she had as a child. I have a work ethic that very far and few in my life. I'm 40 now. I've been working since I was 18. And from the moment I started working till now, there hasn't been a job or a company that I work at that I don't quickly move myself up, just based off my strong work ethic and determination. And I give my mom all the credit for that, because as a boy, she's told me the stories of her growing up. My mom grew up in a mountain rural village in Oaxaca. So she literally had to tell me stories about her sneaking to school because she wanted to go to school, but she was forced to go to get firewood, basically, and they could sell that. That was their family business, her and her brother. So, and seeing her always work as a kid, hustle. She cleaned houses, she sold Avon, she never depended on the government. I mean, all these things, she was literally molding me into who I am now. And I know a big part of that comes from her growing up in Mexico. So I'm very proud of that. But me now being in America and everything I have is because of this country. That, again, yes, I come from Mexican roots, but I'm American. I'm 1,000% American. I'll tell you that right now. But more importantly, we all need to remember we're all children of God and we're all brothers and sisters. And the more you continue to watch the news and watch these things that continue to divide us, they're just going to keep you distracted. So I wasn't planning on most of this being around what you should watch and not watch, but I guess if I have to really look back, I would say that's one of the main factors that completely helped me make the quick transformation the day I did it, which was January 29, 2022, which ironically enough was one day after my mom's birthday, and it was not by intention. It just worked out that way, because God works in mysterious way. God has a very good sense of humor, and I look back and I chuckle at it now. So start looking for podcasts that, and now you have to understand, podcasts have now blown up. I started listening to podcasts when I was 30, so 11 years ago, when most people didn't know what a podcast was then. And the podcasts that I listened to then are the same ones I listen to now. So I'm going to give you a couple of places to start, and all the ones I'm going to give you, I say go back to the beginning and start kind of seeing what works for you. That's not to say don't watch what they're putting out now, but I would highly recommend you going back, what might resonate with your situation. First off, the first one I was watching religiously is called The Passionate Few by Omar. I always get his last name wrong, so I don't want to say it, by Omar. I'm just going to call him Omar at this point. Sorry, Omar, if you ever see this, man, I thank you so much, and keep doing what you're doing, brother, because you're changing lives here. You changed mine. Omar, in his early episodes, had on a young Grant Cardone, Ed Milet, the creator of Patron, and what is the hair product? I'm sorry, I'm blanking on it right now. I mean, amazing stuff. And again, for the most part, rags to riches stories. And man, I had a job where I had to sit almost about 3 days, twice a month, to do payroll for the chauffeurs at my job. And those 3 days were so valuable to me, because I had the time to sit, and while I did my work, have this and I didn't know it was a podcast. It was just a YouTube show for me. Just kind of sit and play in the background. So, A Passionate Few. A lot of people know who Gary Vaynerchuk is, but I would say go back and watch Gary Vaynerchuk's content from 2019, 2020, because he did a lot of